What's up, my vivacious little Valencia oranges? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, I am fresh out of work, I have a cat on my lap, and Rob is about to read you some shit that you don't want to read yourself. Namely, a dev workshop about healing defensible targets. Now, if I'm gonna be honest with you, this was supposed to be my Tatiana rant. However, we're gonna go ahead and save that prime disappointment for a different day, because I figured this was gonna be a little bit more important. As you can see, D.E. Rebecca, our overlord, hath spoketh. Tenno, earlier this week we were tipped off to a problem of our own creation, claiming a fix for Venari plus healing plus inanimate objects when a tip from the community creation verifies it's intended. How can this be? Well, you can see the history here. The topic is not over. We made a hasty change in hotfix 27.3.6 that removed Venari's healing aura from affecting op links and defense targets. Firstly, the terminology of calling Venari's defense target healing a fix was incorrect. So apologies on my behalf. It's correct to say it was a feature for Venari, considering that it had its own tip for it. The change stemmed from our own desire to resolve operation exploits as quickly as possible, and we didn't communicate this properly. We're doing a deeper review on abilities that heal defense targets that we can speak to in the coming days. Apologies as well for the late reply on this topic. We'll update everyone when we've dug deeper and have an action plan. There's like a lot of fixes been going on. I know that we talked a lot about DE not fixing all of their shit, but DE kind of like fumbles a lot of things, but at least there are certain things they're paying attention to. We have been heads down several days on discussions, and ultimately what we want is more healing abilities to work to allow more target strategies to emerge in various mission types. We want there to be lots of options instead of one perfect option. The decision is to not allow heals to work on these defensive targets is an old one, and it arose from Trinity's blessing. The fact that it was a 100% heal that meant it trivialized any defense mission. Since then, we've been working blocking heal on most abilities, not super consistently, without reflecting back on the original design decision. Now that we have reviewed it, we feel like healing these objectives can serve as well as an alternative or a complement to the community used defensive abilities such as Frost Snow Globe, Gara's Mass Vitrify, Limbo's Cataclysm. 100% heals is not what we want to do, so we're instead trying to allow the effects to be adjusted as to not trivialize the game modes. Here are the next steps. My cat literally just jumped off my lap, so now I can shift around a little bit. Warframe abilities / other items that provide healing will work on defensible objects in 3 ways. Fine as is, needs a cap, change burst heal into heal over time. So as you can see, we have a whole like graph here that I'm like, ooh, exciting. So the first one is the heal source. The second is the normal effect. The second is effect on all types of static defendable objects, cryopods, excavators, etc. Numbers are subject to change. The purpose of this post is to communicate our intentions. And lastly, how does this already work in the live build? So let's start off with Gara mending splinters. 3 health per second for each active splinter is the normal effect. Now when it goes to the cryopods, fine as is. They're not going to fuck with it at all. And then we'll work on the live build. It's going to stay the same. Hildren's Haven, so 500% max shields or 500 max shields and 80% faster shield recharge. It's fine as is, will inherit the normal effect behavior, and then how does it already work in the build? On live, it does nothing. So this is going to be another way to kind of help keep the shields on things that do have shields a little bit better. Trinity's Blessing, up to 100% HP and shield restore is the normal effect. Now, it previously did nothing, but now it will heal for 500 over 5 seconds, and it can't stack. So that's a nice little buff to the thing that it's doing right now, which is nothing, because on live, it does nothing. So it's a good little, I like how they're kind of mixing things up a little bit. We've got Equinox Mend, 25 shields for each enemy killed, burst heal based on how much damage was dealt. Note, since the heal amount is based on player damage, the numbers are astronomical, which will lead to imbalances outside our goal here. Now, effects on the static objects, it didn't do anything before, and it'll allow the shield component to work and heal for 500 over 5 seconds, and it can't stack. It does not affect anything, health nor shields, but it will inherit that new component to it, which is nice. Vazarin Protective Dash. So you get 5 seconds of invulnerability and then heal 60% over 5 seconds. The Cryopod will not have any invulnerability attached to it, but it will heal for 500 over 5 seconds, which I feel like is their go-to. It's like 500 over 5 seconds and it can't stack, and it will work at its full effect. Or it worked at its full effect, but now it's going to go ahead and go into that heal over time phase. Now, for Chorus Venari, it heals for 50 HP per second. It is fine as is. It will return functionality that kicked this whole workshop off. And basically what they're saying is they're going to return Chorus Venari back to where it used to be, because it'll be returning functionality it had before, which is fantastic. Hydroid Curative Undertow heals 30 HP every 1.5 seconds when ally stands on it. Now, it previously did nothing, but it will now heal for 100 per every 1.5 seconds. And on live, it currently does nothing. So it's a nice added little change. Harrell Penance heals allies for a percentage of damage dealt. Ooh, I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Note, similar to Equinox, very hard to balance since it's based on damage dealt. Now, what they're going to be doing for it is heals are capped up to 50 per. So it's just going to be 50 points of health every time you deal damage. And on live, it currently does nothing. Oberon's Renew is 125 burst heal and then 50 health per second. It previously did nothing, now fine as is, and will inherit this behavior. Okay, so it's going to have a nice little regeneration to it. Oberon's Renew is getting kind of good. And on live, it currently does nothing, but it will end up doing that heal over time. Ooh, Oberon got that Hitsusan skin and now got like, ooh, so many good things. All right, Garuda's Blood Siphon heals percentage of missing health. Does not apply. For the favor, we think this shouldn't. And I get it. That kind of sucks, though. I mean, it would be cool to kind of be able to skewer an enemy there and restore some health to the pods and whatnot. But they decided no. I'm just saying. A narrow Scarab Swarm heals for damage dealt by swarm projectile divided by allies in range. It's fine as is, and it will inherit this behavior. On live, it currently does nothing, so that's a nice little bump. Nidus Ravenous heals allies standing on it for 20 HP per second. Fine as is will inherit this behavior. Nice! Okay, we're getting a lot of these options. Wisp Vitality Mode. Increase max HP by 300 and heal for 30 per HP per second. Fine as is will inherit this behavior. Is that just going to be for like the targets that actually run around, or will we be able to put that on a defense pod? And it's just going to fly to the defense pod? How does that work? Interesting. Okay. Volt Capacitance. Volt's Grand Shields based on 3% of damage dealt. Capped at 250 shields. No overshields. So, and on live, it does nothing. Titania's passive. Heal 4 per second for 20 seconds. Fine as is. On live, it does nothing currently. Sancti Magistar heals for damage dealt in AoE, heals for up to 500 over 5 seconds, can't stack with the other players, going from burst to heal over time. So it's currently going from burst to heal over time on live. Ancient Healer, heal 100 HP every 20 seconds, fine as is, it will continue working as it is. Rejuvenation Aura heals 3 HP per second, fine as is, will continue to stay as is. And Arcane Pulse, 60% chance to heal for 150 HP when picking up a globe with a 15-second cooldown, fine as is, and it will remain as is. So fantastic. So a lot of new ways for defense targets to actually be healed up. Now, let's talk damage reduction. Okay, they're going into damage reduction too. Not COVID, allergies, and saliva went down the wrong tube right now. Ugh. The above covers healing efforts, but what about abilities that reduce incoming damage? It's completely inconsistent on live right now, so we are making changes as well. Yay! So Trinity's Blessings, 50% damage reduction unmodded, capped at 50% damage reduction. On live, it does nothing. So that's nice. I like how this is going. Mirage Total Eclipse grants 75% damage reduction to allies, capped at 50% damage reduction. Tatiana Thorns, 50% damage redirected to enemies, fine as is, and it'll start doing that with the update. Garah Splinter Storm, 70% damage reduction, capped at 50% damage reduction, works at full effect. Ember Immolated Radiance, 50% of Immolate's damage reduction applies to allies, capped at 50% damage reduction on live. It currently does nothing. Baruch Desolate Hands, 80% damage reduction, capped at 50% damage reduction. Currently on live, it doesn't do anything. That's going to be an interesting one to watch, because I'm assuming that that means that your little hands, the little dagger things, will be able to jump onto pods. I don't know if they're talking about just pods, or if it'll or not just pods, if it'll go onto things like oplinks or defense pods instead of just the human creature thing we're trying to defend. Harrell Warding Thurible, 40% damage reduction, capped at 50% damage reduction, and it'll work at full effect because it's currently working at full effect. And then Nezaha, Warding Halo, absorbs 90% of damage. It will cap at 50% damage reduction. On live, it does nothing. We're aiming to ship this bigger revision on defensible object healing in a near hotfix. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this. We just wanted everyone to be aware of the intent within the same week. We created the miscommunication and inconsistency. Stay home, stay safe, have an awesome weekend, Tenno. I think all in all, this is going to bring a nice, interesting change into the game, because we're not just talking about healing, you know, because let's be real, some of these healing components, 500 over 5 seconds isn't really that, like, you know, mind-blowing. So these effects are not crazy. However, what we do have is damage reduction in addition to all of that. So that's definitely a nice bonus, and will definitely allow people to kind of shift their view on what they want to do when it comes to defending things. So let me know how you guys feel about all of this down in the comments below. Are you excited? Do you think that Oberon is living his best life? Miss Tatiana and her thorns are able to apply to like little defense pods now too. Little payback action. Venaria is also up in the mix. Toss all of your feelings down in the comments below. Overall, it seems really, really cool. Very, very interesting, and adds some more dimension in how you play, in my personal opinion. If you disagree, like, do it nicely, all right? Regardless, that about does it for me for now, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and wash your goddamn hands. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!